Hello there, everyone. This is Tenor Ballet. Hello, friends. Hello, cousins, family, all of you. Welcome. Thank you. Updates abroad. Here we go. Tenor Ballet here. All right. So, I have been reading and will continue to read to obtain my goal of this year of 75 books by the end of not 75 books by the end of this month. For the whole year, I have about, I don't know, 8 more books to go. Even though I have read one book with a combination of 4 books total inside one book. And I'm like, how come I'm not giving myself credit for that? Because if I gave myself credit for that, then I would be closer to my goal. Because with the Paper Magician, I didn't count that as one book. I was reading the Paper Magician trilogy, and that book uh, was one book. The book that I had was one book. Like all 3 books were in one book. But when I went to log it in my reading apps, they came up separately. So they counted for each book, each 3 books. So I'm like, well, maybe I should do that with this book because, yeah, I did read 4 books. But when I went to log this book, that was a total of 4 books, it came up as one book as well as 4 books. So I chose the option of it being one book. So whatever. Um, I did share that I was going to read It Ends With Us, and I read it. The movie is available for streaming with a subscription. So if you have that subscription, you can view the movie. I saw that the movie was available and I opt to read the books first. I had already read It Begins With Us by Colleen Hoover, and I thought that was book 1, but that was book 2, and It Ends With Us is book 1 by Colleen Hoover. I read the book. I'm glad I read the book. The book gives much more details. I like the details that the book gives. The movie was all right. The movie was giving as well. The movie was giving beautiful. The movie was giving fashion. Okay, like yes. I'd like that fashion. Thank you. And thank you so much. Yes, that fashion is everything in that movie. I like uh the visuals that we were given with the flowers and the beautiful people. So the movie it looks beautiful. Like the what do you call it? The aesthetics is appealing. The message, I'm glad. I don't know if it was Colleen Hoover's idea, but she wrote the book. She wrote the book on it, and I'm glad it is connected with the nomore.org, allowing it to be all tied in and congruent, and having the message of information. Like her work has been connected with information that can save lives. All right, and begin new healthy relationships. So I am glad and thankful for that. So yes, that's what I just read and watched this past weekend. Um, and you all can do the same as well. Uh, I did also finish Four Past Midnight by Stephen King. And that's the book that I'm saying is it's four books in one. And oh my goodness, it was it's good. It was something. Lord have mercy. It was I could it had some ugh in it. It had some ugh in it. Um, let's see. For One Past Midnight, I did come and tell you guys about One Past Midnight. Okay, so all of the books in Four Past Midnight is like a minute. It's a minute. So the first book is called One Past Midnight. The second book is called Two Past Midnight. Well, okay, so they also have their own titles as well. So it's One Past Midnight, The Langoliers, uh, Two Past Midnight, Secret Windows, Secret Garden. Three Past Midnight was The Policeman. Ugh, 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 Lord. No, not The Policeman. It's called excuse me. I made a mistake. It's called The Library Police. Something like that. It was something like The Library Policeman or something like that. Yeah. The library. It had something to do with the library. The Library Police. Something like that. The Library Policeman. Oh, and then Four Past Midnight was um Four Past Midnight was the Sundog. The Sun Dog. Something like, yeah. So the Library Police or the Library Policeman, that was the longest book. Like that book kept going and going and going. And I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for it because I was like, please keep going. Please tell me more. Like I need let me come on, it ain't wrapped up yet. Like give me some more. So every time like it seemed like it could have ended, I was turning the page to read more of it. So that book gave, and I liked how it ended. I like all that it gave. Some stuff it gave too much. It could have left it, but uh, also Sundog wasn't as long as The Library Policeman. The Library Policeman, I think, was the longest book out of all the four. I think it seemed that way. Um, let's see. So the Sundog was seemed like it could have ended way before it ended. I was like, oh, it's still going. Okay, we're still reading. Okay, cause I didn't know where this is gonna go. I kind of got a little confused with Sundog. Uh, it kept going too, and then it started to wrap up, and then it was like the Sundog ain't finished yet, and I'm like. Okay, okay. Where is this movie? Let me see a movie of the Sundog. And what who's typing for the Sundog? Because this dog has a translator. Okay. So uh let's see. So I picked this book because I was looking for the secret window, and got all these other books as well. And I did rewatch The Secret Window after reading uh the book. It is different. Like what? It's different. It's it's similar. It's similar. I actually like how the uh Johnny Depp acts towards his housekeeper. I like how he acts towards her in the book versus the movie. Like I don't care for his actions towards his housekeeper in the movie. Um but yeah, it is like it's a bit different. It's a bit different. Like the ending is different. I'm trying to think what else is different. Oh, some of the characters are different. Uh so yeah, it's excellent reading the books because something you get special features when you read the book. Uh you get some behind the scenes, you get some special features, you get some alternate endings and alternate characters and things like that when you read the book. Uh, so that I'm trying to think if I read anything else besides those. I know I did. Okay, so I just finished reading Jonah's Hand's Hello Friend book um, this morning. Um, I was watching a crochet video by I don't know what her channel name is. Her name is Tony. She was doing a video with her mom, and they were saying like the thumbnail is like something like AI generated crochet, pitch it or stitch it. So I just finished reading, or I just finished watching her video earlier this morning, and she was saying that we needed to learn, or not necessarily her, but like people need to learn to read patterns. Stop putting it off. Learn how to read a pattern uh, versus just asking for a tutorial and like not even looking at the pattern to learn it. So that's when I went and looked up some crochet books, um, and I saw that Jonah Hands had a book. So I read his book, and then I saw that there was some other books. So I have those on my wish list so that I can uh, practice reading patterns because I do get patterns and then I will look up the tutorial. I sure will. And what I had started doing was like reading the tutorial and then looking at no, reading the pattern and then looking at the tutorial for the translation. So I would read it. I'm like, what does that mean? So then I would go to the tutorial and I'm like, ah, okay. So that's what that meant. So yeah. So I'll be focusing more on the language of patterns. Because I do have some patterns that may not have tutorials. I have a few patterns that don't have tutorials. So yeah, patterns is a whole nother language. And thanks to Tony, I will be uh, putting that as a priority to uh, practice pattern reading. The few books that I did get uh, on my wish list are audiobooks. So that is another way to get the information into your head. Like maybe hear somebody else say it. It's not necessary. It's not a tutorial. It's audio. So I'm gonna see how that goes. See how that fares. If I can follow a pattern like that, and also give my attention to a pattern versus looking at pictures. Now I am about to start this a scarf, and just looking at the pictures, I thought that the scarf, I thought I was coming up with a pattern on my own. I was thinking that the scarf was like each scarf was a different stitch. But then I started to read the pattern, and the pattern was like it's one stitch the whole scarf through. And I was like, okay, I can breathe because that's more simpler than I thought it would be. And so, yeah, reading is wonderful. Pattern reading as well. So I'm going to make it. I've been reading, I'm up to maybe 68 books this year. So make it a priority to read patterns as well. Put the patterns up there as well. So yeah, thank you so much. I know. It is some patterns out there without the tutorials. And instead of humming and hawing and putting it to the side, uh, really just figure out the translation of the pattern so that we can create the items that we would like. That's what it boils down to. Oh, also, I am looking forward to uh, journaling what I'm reading. Uh, it came up me personally because I did just read It Ends With Us, and like, I don't know, a couple of months ago or so, I had read It Begins With Us, and the books are seemed similar. They seemed similar, but I could recognize the differences in the books. Some of the information didn't didn't match within the books, so they they seem like standalone books to me. Uh, So I was expressing in my one of my reading apps, I was expressing those differences that I saw between each book. And um, then when I was reading the movie, I mean, watching the movie, I um, there's a part in the movie, and it's also in the book as well. And um, because I was differentiating both of the books, like I was comparing them, I was going through my notes in my head, like what's different, what's different and what's the same. Um, and it begins with us. I was trying to recall if Ryle was a neurosurgeon, or did it come up um something else. So yeah, there's a character in the book that's a neurosurgeon, and it ends with us. And it begins with us. There's a mention of a Ryo being a neurosurgeon as well. However, comma, and I'm I think I remember correctly what I read. However, there are several readers that are taking notes with sticky notes and highlighters and making notes of what who what we feelings and things they want to quote and remember. And I'm like, I'm ready for it, because I really just did that with It Ends With Us, but I did it mentally. And with It Begins With Us, I would have liked to have had that done so that I could go back to my notes and recall exactly. Even though I'm pretty sure I recall correctly, I'm feeling like it's a time for me to start journaling my reading so that I can enjoy the creativity of it all, and through the journaling, especially inspired by the book and the movie, giving the visualizations of It Ends With Us. The book, I was liking how what I was hearing with Lily and her ideas of creativity. I was like, yes, girl, yes, like beautiful. Black and blue and black and purple and black and pink. I like that. And studs, yes, silver studs wrapped around with the black roses and the purple roses. Yes, like beautiful. Um, with the boots, yes. So it sounds so good. Um, so I was like, ooh, I got inspired. Maybe I have some stickers. I have some flower stickers, a few flower stickers I would like to make a journal with. I like how she had her journal. I was like, yes. And then uh, I could use that to journal uh my reading of It Ends With Us and It Begins With Us. I especially was like, wow, that would be a great book to journal and have that as my reference. Uh, so yeah, I see now the importance or the what do you call the convenience of mm, taking notes and highlighting what you would like to recall when you're reading. So I've been inspired. Um, Now, my reading journaling would be more reading, journaling, note taking, um, because the books that I had was audio. So yeah, I do see people with the sticky notes and the highlighters, and I'm like, how can I play with what I have? I have an audio book, so I would perhaps write down my notes or type my notes um, in that way. So that's what it's looking like at the moment. Maybe even scrapbook, like I had mentioned with the stickers. So that's what it's looking like. Taking notes. I do believe somebody said that, like to take notes, have a notebook and take notes with what you're doing with your reading. So seems like I will be implementing that because I really just been reading, not taking notes, mostly mental notes. But yeah, the more books I read, the more my brain is like, child, get you a notebook. Because I'm not about to remember all these books now. All, word for word. Well, maybe you can do it, brain. Come on, you smart. No. uh, so yeah, but I think it would be pretty. It would be another way to junk journal, perhaps. Junk, I guess. I think so. I think you could do that with a book that you read. Yeah. So, just yeah. That's what it's looking like for me. Um those are some ideas that I've come up with. Like I said, I do see people with actual books that are like highlighting and then they have the sticky tabs. Um but yeah, I'm like, okay, so how do I do that with the audio book? I get a notebook or paper or whatever, like something like that, and take some notes down, quotes and important parts. Sounds like a research paper at the moment, but I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun and reference. And then I'm like, well, what do you know to reference though? We shall see. We shall see what what comes up as far as reference things, because it would be different for everybody. I would think like what you would want to note, what you deem, you know, for notability. Like what you gonna write down? What you feeling? Really, is like I think it's fun. I think it looks like it's fun. I don't know. I hadn't done it yet. But I'm looking forward to it. So that's one of my new and uh New intentions is to journal my reading. I don't know if I want to journal all of these things now, cause I don't know. Not now. See, I don't know. I really just was thinking about journaling that one particular book so that I could have a reference to go back to, because I was just really noticing the differences in those two books by Colleen Hoover. And it's because I thought that they were uh I thought it was a book series. And I thought I read book one. I thought I was going to read book two. But when I read what I thought was book two, it formed more as, no, this is the prequel or book one. So that's why I started comparing the books. Uh, that's probably the only reason why I compared the books. Um, and they do, they are standalone stories, because some things in It Begins With Us is wrapped up and presented in a different way than in It Ends With Us. And It Ends With Us is more of a behind the scenes of how things happen. It Begins With Us is more like, uh oh, what happened, and these are the results of what had happened. That's what it seems like to me with the two books. Was that clear? Okay, so It Begins With Us seems like this. Okay, It Begins With Us. The book seems like this story is the results of what happened. You don't get to you get to know what happened, just not in the full way you do with It Ends With Us. Now when you read It Ends With Us, you be like, oh, okay. That, oh my God. Now to me, it seemed like It Ends With Us is rated R, and It Begins With Us is PG-13. That's how I felt when I was reading it. Like, I was like, okay, so if you was to read the PG-13, It Begins with that, you get a vague sense of the happenings and goings on. Like I said, you get the results of things happening, and it's not even like you miss anything. That's how the book is presented. Like, the book is presented like its own full story, and It Begins With Us. It's its own full story. Everybody meets how they meet, differently from, similar but different. And then it ends with us. It's like more of what um, happened. Everybody meets how they meet. You get to see how everybody meet, you get to meet, you get to hear more of the story, but it's presented in its own way as well. Like it seems like it's like no one or two books. It seems like they're their own story, even though they have the same characters in them. They're both their own story, it seems, but the stories seem so similar that it could seem like a one or two, but it's they both stand alone. The stories stand alone. It's just when you read It Ends With Us, you get more. Like I said, like it seems to me like It Ends With Us is more rated R versus It Begins With Us is more PG-13. Like, yeah, I think that's that's how it seemed to me. Like, like look, if you don't want rated R, you can read the, this one, and if you don't mind the rated R, then you can read that one. And if you want to read both stories to hear it all, read both stories. So yeah, I read both stories, and that's where the inspiration came to start journaling. To have that reference to go back and compare and contrast and things like that. Uh, check cross what is called check cross reference and things like that. Um, with the stories. But for the most part, I remember everything. And so as stories go, it was just like one little detail. I think I caught it when I saw the movie. I saw the movie. Um, and I saw how Rao responded to him performing surgery. And I was like, I caught you. I see it. I see it. I was like, he, that, it's in the other book. It's in the other book what happened. I was like, mm-hmm. I think that is alluding to what's said um, in the movie. In the movie, It Ends With Us. His reply to him, um, what, uh, and he was supposed to be performing surgery. And when Lily asked him how did it go, his reply was, yeah. His reply was, yeah. It was vague. It was vague, and he changed the subject. I think in the other book it said boop by boop. I don't want to spoil it. I'm not spoiling it. And but yeah, that's when I was like, do some journaling, take some notes, and you'll have it. If I was to even write that part down, like who was to say, had I read that, had I read the book, taking notes, I would have wrote that specific thing down. I don't know exactly. I don't know. you know. So that's fun. It's fun. All the reading and the watching. It's fun, fun, fun. Uh, and it's a gift. It's a gift that the authors has given us, and I'm enjoying all the gifts. Um, I am finishing off a book series by Lauren Roberts. Lauren. Lauren Roberts, I think her name is. I'm on Powerful right now. So I figured it'd be all right to go ahead and finish the book series that I'm on. Um I do have book 2 of Bird Box uh ready to go now that I'm saying it out loud. Um I'm attempting to read 8 books this month, and I thought to myself, I said, how about I read a few short books to help me reach that goal? And I don't know why I think that's so funny and cheeky. Like I'm like, I feel like I'd be cheating to read shorter books to reach my goal. I'm like, look, a book is a book, okay. So, but I started Powerful this morning, and it is if you've read Reckless and Powerless, no, it goes Powerless, Reckless, Powerful. If you read the other 2 books, you got the background stories of Peyton and Kit and I want to say the other boy, and the King. So Powerful is the seeming like the background of well, not necessarily the background, but I just started the book, y'all. Um, Peyton. No, not Peyton. Peyton. No. The seamstress. The seamstress. I think Peyton is the other girl. The seamstress, what her name is. So this is seems like her story to know more about her. And it shows how her and Peyton um how they met. I just read how they met, and now it's going into what she's doing. So yeah, her and Peyton just crossed paths, and they just briefly um met, and now she's about to sow a dot dot dot. I'm not gonna go into spoilers, but yeah. So I'll be reading that book. That book is pretty short. That book is pretty short. Like like look, what books did I read to reach the goal? And then I'm like, this is like my third goal for the year because I really uh what started making reading a priority in July or August. So yeah, trying to keep it fun. And I do have some more Stephen King books on my list. I've added Misery to my list. I've added The Stand to my list. Um and I may even revisit Doctor Strange because I do love the movie. I love the movie Doctor Strange. However, comma, like I said, when you read these books be giving like special feature alternate ending type things, and I'm like, ugh, like there's a character in the book that I'm like, And then I'm like, I'm trying to talk myself into continuing to read it because I'm like, just get past this part, just get past it, just get past it. But then I'm like, So I stopped reading it because I was like, I don't know how far this character is gonna go. Like, I'm like, he already done went too far, like it's. I'm just like, how far, like, is it gonna come? I'm ready, like, to be done with this character. But yeah, I stopped that. I might revisit that book. I also might revisit it because I did start reading it and I had to stop it. Um, but I don't mind the movies, but yeah, well, yeah, like I said, the book it is more like the new movie it. Um, and was I did watch the new movie it, so maybe I can read it now. Now that I've seen a visual of it. Cause the book started off popping. Like it started off popping. Like, oh my goodness. Those some yeah, so I might revisit that book. Um but yeah, I was able to read 4 of his books, the more subdued ones. And oh my goodness, the Library Police, oh my god, it had it had a section in it that was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, so I think I set the book down. The I mean, he told the details of it, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I don't know, I almost cried. I set the book down, but I was able to pick it up and keep reading. I was feeling it to my bones, Lord have mercy. I was like, ugh, ugh. But I kept reading. The character, um, the the character, um, hmm, the main. It was quite a few main guys. I'm trying to see how to say it, but I don't know if I say it, I might spoil it. But yeah, there was a section in that book that was book sit down, set the book down and take a break, and then come back to it. So yeah, um, but yeah, I was able to read it, and the rest of the book was fine. It was just a small section in it that was very impactful. Lord have mercy, my choice of words. So, um, I don't think library fines should be that serious. I should say. I'm gonna say that. Library fines should not be considered so serious to where you and it. Nobody should be afraid of paying of a late book. Okay, nobody, anybody, anybody. Like, just let the book be late, Lord. Like, let the book be late. Ugh. And uh, yeah. So, anybody go to the library and have them those library misconstrued and late and wires crossed and you be like, no, no, I'm not paying for this, no. And then see, if I keep talking, I'm gonna go into spoiler alert. But Yeah, it wasn't worth that. And then the character had the nerve to call somebody, ugh. It just, the character just got worse and worse. And then I'm like, how you gonna call him that and you that? Like you ugh. Just I was, oh, that section in that book. I was like, how you gonna call him that and you that? Like, and I'm glad uh the story turned out how it did. I'm glad for that. Uh, but yeah, uh, I was like, oh my goodness, y'all. If you ever in the library, like just just slide a little extra for the next person. Slide a little extra for the next person, so to to cover somebody's late fees. Like, goodness, it shouldn't be that serious. Okay, like, Lord have mercy. Slide a little extra, put a little extra on somebody else's late fee, Lord, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. So, yeah. Anything else? I think. Oh, I am reading a seasonal book. I'm reading I think I'm reading 12 Days of Slay. I don't know what I'm reading. What am I reading? I'm reading a seasonal book. I know it's a seasonal book. It's about a Christmas tree farm. No, it's about a family that runs a Christmas tree farm. And I think the book is called 12 Days of Slay, I think. And I say I think because I do have 12 Days of Slay on one of my lists. I don't know if it's on my currently reading list. I don't know if it's on my to be read list. So it's on one of my lists, and I'm either reading it now or I'm about to read it, because I did just look at it this morning. I'm like, okay, 12 Days of Slay. I'm trying to think. Okay, so who is the author? Because the author does have some more seasonal books that I was thinking about reading. I It could be a series. I wasn't sure if I was gonna get to read a seasonal book in the season. So I'm glad to be able to read a seasonal book in the season. Um, I mean, it's got sleigh rides and snow and cocoa and hard cider and mistletoes and uh, Christmas photos and Christmas trees. They're on a Christmas tree farm, and it's got treats and cupcakes and peppermint sticks. It got all the things. It got lights. So I'm enjoying reading a seasonal book. This might be my first seasonal book during this season. During this season, yes. During this season, it's my first seasonal book. During this season. Um, I don't know. For October, I don't I don't I don't think I was reading any seasonal books during October or November. I don't think so. So this is my first seasonal book during the season. So I'm liking it. Um, and I got to get back with you guys on the title because um, at the moment it's not 12. It don't the story not matching up to the title. If it is called, if I am reading 12 Days of Slay, it's not the story is not matching up. Like I'm okay. I'm like, okay, 12 Days of Slay. I'm like, yes. I'm like, okay. So is this got about to be like 12? The movie that I watched, I thought it was gonna be like it's this movie that I watched called something like that. It was called like 12 Days of Slay or something like that. It was similar. The title was similar, like Christmas Slay or something like that. And it's an anthology Christmas horror. So I thought that's what this book was gonna be. And I mean, it has its elements. I mean, and it popped off quick. It popped off real quick, like at the beginning. And now it's a who did it murder mystery. Not even a who. Well, it's a yeah, not really even a who did it. But it's it's a they need to solve the case. It's an open case and it hadn't been solved yet. So that's what's going on in the book so far. Um, yeah, and it's like it's even though that has happened, it's like almost like a cheery book almost. Even though these elements of surprise are happening, it's almost like a cheery. I don't know. I'm getting cheery from it because they it's like Christmas Eve now in the book, and they've been the Christmas farm every year. They have games and sleigh rides, and they this is the time of the year where they make their money. So they have games and contests, and they sell Christmas trees, and they had to close because of what happened. Oops, spoiler alert. So even though that happened, they still trying to stay open and do the things that they normally do because that's how they make their money for the the for the year. So I think they were closed like the day of and uh, maybe the day after. I think they opened the day after and then they had to close again or something. They've been they had to close due to weather. Due to weather, they had to close on one of those days. And then they just reopened either the day before Christmas Eve, and now it's Christmas Eve, and the mother has made what she made. I think she made pancakes or something. Oh my God, this mama, she done made some maple butter, and I'm like, oh my goodness, maple butter. Mm, yes, tell it. And then she just, okay, so for Christmas Eve, that wasn't even Christmas Eve. That was the other day. That was either the day before Christmas Eve or the day before that day. And now here it is, Christmas Eve, and she's made maple syrup bacon. And I was like, oh, oh, she made the bacon, and her daughter came down the stairs, and um she was eating the bacon, and um they was talking about love and putting love. She was talking about putting mama must have put love in the bacon, and she was like, "Oh, I put some maple syrup in the skillet," and I was like, "Ah!" I was like, "Tell it." So yes, I like hearing these stories about these things you can add to your life. So yeah, that probably would be something I would note. That probably need to be something I could note now, in my journal. Maybe let this be the first book that I journal on, and note that maple butter, Lord have mercy, and the maple bacon. And I don't even eat bacon, but I would eat some maple bacon. So this book got it all. And then the mom, she went to the refrigerator and grabbed the Cool Whip and did that to the top of her pancake. And I was like, yes, tell me all the foods you eating in this book. Like, y'all are really eating. They're eating. They're having coffee, tea, cocoa. I'm like, whew. I think this probably the most. No, well, besides the Hunger Games, I was about to say this might be the most food has been mentioned in the book. But yeah, enjoying the readings. These are fun. Hi, friend. I know you enjoying your readings as well, friend, and your books as well. When you do read, if you don't have time to pick up a book, a physical book, there are audio books. I've been enjoying some audio books, and those are real cool to read, to listen to. Uh, uh, Commercial audio books, and my favorite are the unabridged. Uh, so yeah, let me know if you, or when you, or how you, some ideas for journaling, um, audio books. I was thinking maybe open up a tab or like a blog journal, and maybe taking notes that way. I do have an app with sticky note, uh, with the sticky note feature, that I could give a try. So I don't know exactly how this is gonna go. I think it would be it's gonna be creative, because I do have I could go the scrapbook way. I do have some scrapbook paper that I can begin with. And maybe I'll even I'm getting some ideas. So that's looking like what it could be, like a note taking type of scrapbooking, take notes type, something like that, transfer it, make it a scrapbook page type of thing. That's what I've come up with. I may see how other people are doing it, but that's how my brain has said it can be done. I haven't seen anybody else do it. Everybody's had a book, a physical book. Even if they do have the audio book, they get the physical book and do the highlighting and the tabbing and things like that. Um, so I may look up how to tab an audio book, maybe. I think I'm on the right track though. I think I'm on the right track as far as like taking those notes for the quotes and creating a scrapbook page. Okay, so thank you so much, friend. You have also been an inspiration to my broadening of my book uh my book expansion. um Thank you so much for your book recommendations. If it had not been for you, I would have put some books off to the side, but because I saw you reading said books, I said, okay, my friend reading them, I'm gonna read them too. So thank you so much, friend. Much love to you and yours. Let's have those thumbs ups and subscriptions. Chat with you later. I'm gonna play the like and subscribe and close out the live stream. Um, love you bunches.